I'm really thinking that Ethan Hawke was paid by the word for this role because he has a lot of monologues. Guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka GeekXX Chic, and we are back with another reaction to Moon Knight. We're now into episode 5, which is called Asylum. And I feel like that is such an interesting title because asylum has multiple meanings. It's one word that was used for a place where people with mental health issues used to be put, you know, when they were basically hospitalized. But it also means a place of refuge or a place of safety. So interesting that choice of words. I do think that we're going to probably touch on both of those topics throughout the episodes, but we're going to have to see. But speaking of the last episode, we had a lot go down. We had Layla find out the truth about what happened when her dad died, as far as Steven/Marc being present when it happened. We also saw that they finally got their hands on the avatar of Amit, but Harrow was right on their heels and he shot Marc 2 times. And we kind of ended up in some interesting, strange, seeming like a dream place that Marc and Steven have ended up in. It might be, like I said, purgatory. It could be a place between life and death. We're not sure. We didn't have any time to investigate it. All we know is that Marc and Steven's personas are able to talk in this space, and we ended the episode with a giant hippo saying hello, seeming very perky. So lots of questions, obviously, about who that is, where Steven/Marc is, and if they're going to get out of here. Not going to know anything till we get into the episode, so we're going to jump into it. But before I do, if this is your first time to my channel, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you're seeing, please hit that thumbs up button. It means a lot to me. It gives me a little algorithm love, which I very much appreciate. And if you really have any comments, things you want to say, please leave that in the comments below. And if you like it here, please hit the subscribe button as well so you can be notified when I do more reactions to this show. I know that this one's almost done, but I do react to a lot of Marvel here. So if you like that, please join the fam. And if you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back. I appreciate you so much. And the same goes for you. Please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Love having you. Let's get into this. Episode 5. Let's go.
It's all your fault.
Marc,
What?
I didn't shoot you. Your mind is violently vacillating.
Wait, how do we get back here, and why does he look even more beat up?
Very difficult reality that you
Is this because he scared the hippo?
You're not a doctor. I feel real.
I feel like a doctor, so therefore I am. You're an actor, Ethan Hawke.
Oddly reminiscent of this office, except that it was in Egypt, right? And that you were with a rhinoceros.
The way I didn't even catch it's the same set. Damn!
The struggling mind will often build places to seek shelter for different aspects of the self from our most traumatic memories.
I'm really thinking that Ethan Hawke was paid by the word for this role because he has a lot of monologues.
The new animal character.
Hippopotamus.
I find that really interesting.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who has questions.
You were talking to me about a boy? Do you remember that boy?
Yeah, we'd like to know about the boy too, and whoever was screaming at him. If that was his mom, then that explains so much, and why Steven's the one talking to her and not Marc.
I tell you what, I feel like $1 million. Never felt so good. I'm gonna see myself out. Thank you, doctor. I don't want to lose the.
Like, why would you hold that like a weapon? Damn, that is a big ass needle. Now we're back here. Wow, this hippo be tall.
Is he always so intense?
To him, yeah.
Not the accent.
Because just a second ago, I thought that I'd been shot to death.
Oh gosh, this will really bake your noodle, but I think you were just taking a little time out. I'm afraid you're actually quite dead.
That what you call being shot? Just gonna take a time out, guys. Got a few bullets in the chest.
We died.
I have... Hold on a sec. It's been a minute since we've had a soul pass through here.
No, not an actual scroll.
To the realm of the Duat.
Duat, the Egyptian underworld,
Okay.
goddess of women and children, and
She's like, thank you for knowing me. It's so nice to be recognized.
The afterlife? The afterlife?
An afterlife, not the afterlife. You'd be surprised how many intersectional planes of untethered consciousness exist.
I like the fact that they're not disrespecting anybody's viewpoint of the afterlife here.
Perceive this realm as something more easily recognizable to you.
Like I said last episode, safe space.
We imagine this realm to be a psychiatric hospital.
Because
Marc?
we're insane.
Yeah. Remember, personalities, it's not considered a norm in the real world. I mean, insane's a bit strong.
Sorry.
Oh man, Dr. Harrow's right. Dr. Harrow.
Right? He's like, who?
See, doctor now. Prove it to you. So like, right through these doors.
Where's
for
Steven's like, can you
example.
catch me up? I've been asleep. Locked in a sarcophagus, actually.
Oh my god!
Pretty. I like this better. The white of the facility was a bit jarring to the retinas. That's a gorgeous boat.
We're sending to Harrow to the field of reeds, right, Toetic?
Ah, so he's the smart one, hey? Well,
Wow. Just reaching into my actual soul.
oh goody! It worked. Look at that.
It,
Me worrying I'd blow your chest wide open.
ma'am, things you could have kept in your inside voice. I just gotta say for the record that your hearts are not looking normal.
What if they don't balance?
You get thrown overboard. Whee! Where you will remain forever, frozen in sand.
Okay, well, interesting. At least that's not that bad. I mean, it's not eternal torment.
Kill the hippo, steal the boat.
Whoa! What? Interesting that there's scales coming up again.
Why is it moving like that?
I don't know.
Maybe because there's two of them in one body? I feel like one of them balances and one of them doesn't.
This boat contains all of a life's memories.
Ah.
Get in there and show each other the truth. Balance your scales before we arrive at the field of reeds.
Interesting. Very interesting, considering that Harrow's whole thing is about scales and weighing one's, worth, etc. And now we're going back to scales and measuring one's worth.
And like help each other uncover whatever it is that we're hiding, apparently. Stephen.
Yeah, see, Mark's not much of the introspective type. I think that's exactly why Steven's persona was created. This is a really cool way to show like the different moments in his life, especially considering it's also within a facility. I feel like he needs to go further back though. We need to go like childhood back.
Stephen, what are we gonna do here? We're gonna like revisit every single memory I've ever had?
Apparently.
Just a creepy calf filled with dead bodies. That's all it is.
So all the
No
people
prizes.
Steven's killed or Mark's killed. Or the third persona. Maybe.
Go on.
Oh, he knows their names.
New York. No way.
Oh, where he killed them. Okay.
You killed all of them?
Possibly.
They were criminals.
Some of them might have
murderers, predators.
fallen off of cliffs themselves.
And you remember each person? You
Yes.
tried taking a life.
That scars a soul, my friend. Are you starting to understand now?
Now what do we do? You go next, or who's that?
Yeah, who'd you kill in a wheelchair? That's pretty low, man. Like, who in a wheelchair could come for you like that?
Why is there a child in a room filled with people that you've killed?
He's still alive?
Come on, now wait, Steven! Open the door! Open the door!
This is such an interesting process because these are things Mark clearly doesn't want to deal with. Steven hasn't been a part of. Wow. Like, and the fact that like there's like a desire to separate.
I had a brother.
Did you?
Hey, Mark. What do? Keep an eye on your brother, okay?
Something tells me that his brother didn't make it and his mom blamed him, and that's what caused the first split.
It'll be fine. Don't be a baby.
The fact that kids do this all the time. And you pray that it's not going to turn into anything terrible when it does. Oh, Khonshu's bones.
Lads! You have to get out of here!
So this is a memory. You can't change anything.
Get back here! Boys!
This is such an interesting scene. Like what's happening here. The panic that Mark has with reopening this memory, which he's clearly suppressed. Oh, jeez. Bad blood here. Interesting that Steven still talks to their mom and he doesn't. I wonder if she even... That's why I kept saying I don't know if the talking to the mom is real.
It's just a memory.
But it still feels real. It's a crazy thing about memories. They can feel like they happened yesterday. Not his mind actually going into two separate sets of memories. Yeesh! It's getting layered.
I brought him back.
Understandable.
You were supposed to keep him safe.
Stephen, let's go.
Let him drown. All your fault.
Horrible thing. And it's such a heartbreaking thing because you know that she didn't mean it in that moment. But oh my gosh, it would break a kid. It really would. Wow.
She's not coming.
She never got past it, which, and sadly, a lot of parents don't.
We'll do it just you and I this year. Okay?
I feel like it's probably every year. Oh, poor baby Mark.
I should have known you would do something like this.
Wow. I'm sorry, your mom was evil. How do you blame a child continuously for what was an accident?
What happened to that room, Mark? Why are you remembering her like that? It's not what she was like.
Oh, really? Okay.
She will get help. We will fix this. You're supposed to fix this. I mean, why haven't you?
It's too much. I understand the father was in an impossible position, but that is too much to ask for your son to deal with. She clearly needed help. This is where you almost died the first time?
Killed hostages.
He didn't?
Can you believe that? Yeah, wouldn't put it past you.
It's okay. Poor Mark. So many people in his life just believing the worst of him.
What happened to you?
Got shot. Khonshu showed up. And here we are. Oh, was it Khonshu's tomb that y'all was trying to raid? Well, that makes sense now. Okay, I thought Khonshu was just like roaming, but y'all kind of dropped on his doorstep. Okay. Oh, poor boy. He was in so much pain.
What a waste.
Huh?
This makes sense too. Mark probably needed someone to see his worth for once.
Do you want death? Or do you want life?
He wanted life, but just not the one he was living.
Your mind. I feel it. Fractured.
So he knew.
You are a worthy candidate to serve me during this time.
Interesting. So he liked the fact that he was not okay.
That snaky old vulture. He was manipulating you from the start.
Was he?
He was taking advantage of you. Or it was just a way for me to keep being what I've always been.
Interesting argument.
And bring my vengeance to those who would do them harm.
Could you not ask me this when I'm bleeding out, though? One could say he was not in his right mind.
Rise and live again as my fist of vengeance, as my Moon Knight.
Oh, we got the name drop, finally! That was pretty cool ascension, not gonna lie. Oof, Mark's not having good feelings about that memory.
Unbalanced souls are being judged and condemned to the sands before their time. Oh, this
I
is...
mean,
Please help us free Khonshu.
Are you sure you want to be with Khonshu again? Seems like you really want to get away from him.
well, half of us do.
Please, Taweda, you have to help us. Please.
I'm glad Steven's there to appeal with the kindness. Mark was like, let's kill her. And she's so chill. Okay, put your back into it, sis. Okay, seriously though, a boat that sails on sand is kind of the coolest thing.
Harrow succeeds and all those people die. If Layla dies, that's on your head. It'll be all your fault.
Ooh. Why would you use those words?
Oh no, you can't make me! You can't make me!
Oh, wow. He pulled himself right out of it. That's how scared he is. Oh, his mother broke him so badly. What a horrible woman. But I also empathize with her, so I can't really call her horrible.
Did you inject me with something?
And now he's back to not being beaten up.
Reliving these kind of traumatic memories can be so painful. They look and feel so real.
Why are you sweating?
For 1 second, okay? I want you to consider.
Always looking for Steven.
You created Steven to hide from all of the awful things you feel you've done in your life.
That's
What do you think?
exactly what happened.
You're gonna have to open up to Steven. There can be no progress without understanding.
There it is. Can't run from it anymore.
This is my room.
Mm-hmm.
I remember some things, but I don't remember this.
Yeah, because he didn't want you to.
Open this door!
That's the first time he split.
Bloody hell. Look at the state of this place. Better sort it out before Mum sees it.
You starting to understand how you came to be there, Steven?
Fear.
Steven Grant.
You made me up.
Yeah.
Why do you have to make them do
I want to
this?
see what she did. I want to see what she did.
Disgusting.
You're not meant to see that. You're not meant to see that. That's the whole point of you.
There we go. Wow, the self-awareness in this episode.
The point of me, what, to be a stress ball?
Kinda.
A happy, simple, normal life. You understand? But it was all a lie, wasn't it?
It was.
Well, you want to remember the truth? That you had a mother that beat you? That hated you? That made your life a living hell? She's trying to upset me, but
You just... Okay.
that she was kind, that she's still alive.
That's what I thought. I knew those calls weren't real. I knew it.
No, this is all wrong.
Okay, so what happens when Steven breaks, guys? I'm scared. Third sarcophagus?
Let me out.
Sorry, that was funny. At least it was just the water and not the glass.
Dr. Harrow, yeah? Is it?
That's right.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Wow.
This is so brilliantly done because it really makes it seem like this whole thing, everything about Moon Knight is all in his head.
Little silly Tash there.
Tash.
It's very Ned Flanders.
Yes, oh my God, that is exactly it. How did I not see that? That was gold.
Did he get a chance to speak with you?
He lied to me, that's what he did.
The way he just slips like right back into therapy, even though he's trying to figure out the surroundings, is hilarious to me.
My mother is alive. You say that again, I will freak out, I promise.
Not a freak out threat. Okay. Are you going to have a BF? You gonna write a letter?
Could you call Mrs. Grant, please?
No, she screams a call.
I
She
know,
won't
just
answer.
call her.
She's afraid
Her
of...
name's not Grant.
No, please don't do that.
It's ringing.
Don't bother her, please.
Hello.
Should it matter?
Would you like to speak to your mother?
Yeah, can we? Because we've never heard her voice. Not one time. Oh, you know it's the truth deep down, don't you, Steven? You know no one's been on the other end for a very long time.
My mother's dead.
She's free from what was clearly a very painful life. Where's Steven's dad? Or Mark's dad? Now, I'm kind of wondering, is he still alive? That poor guy's been through it. Ah, that's the memory. Couldn't bring himself to go in. Yeah, funerals would be extraordinarily triggering for Mark. Yeah, no. Last funeral he was at was pretty horrible.
Not giving me that satisfaction.
Oh, this is heartbreaking. But oh my God, kudos to Oscar. He is killing this, you guys. I feel like another fracture happened here. Let's see. Who comes out here?
What?
Okay, Steven again.
Hey, Mum. Hey, you alright? Yeah, would you
No one's
believe it?
on the line.
I don't know, I'm looking down a street.
Very interesting that he switched into it when he was in like just an extreme amount of pain too.
Mom's death in Shiva 2 months ago. This was the moment our lives started bleeding into each other.
Ah, the triggering point. Thank you.
All those horrible things that she said to you, she was wrong. It wasn't your fault. I shouldn't have brought him in that cave. I shouldn't have brought him in the cave. Hey,
You couldn't have known, hun.
you were just a child.
And she should have known that. Look at this self-healing, this reconciliation he needs to make in his head. Oh,
Gates.
what's going on with the boat?
The gates of Osiris. Come on.
I legit forgot they were still on this boat thing.
Your scales never balanced. Our journey's come to an end. I cannot stop the inevitable. I was really rooting for you guys, but...
Oh, interesting. Even though they reconciled? Oh, geez. You look kind of dusty. All y'all need is some lotion and you can send these guys right back in there. That's all they want, just a little moisture. You can't kill something that's already dead, Mark, babe. Please. Steven said not on my watch. The way he's holding on to it for old dear life. I'm sick.
If I'm you, that means I've got this too.
Right? Thank you. That's right. Nerd rage. Nerd rage! So they just need to work together. That's really what it comes down to, right? Even though it's two different personalities, they need to finally just join forces. Okay, wow, okay. I was kidding about the nerd rage, but maybe not. Not Steven! Watch the scales balance now.
Wait, Steven!
You best run like you've never run before, boy. No, the boat doesn't stop, hun. Ever. Oh no. Steven! No! But maybe he needs to be in his solitary mind right now to do what he needs to do? I've got questions. Balanced. Knew it.
The scales are balanced.
So many possible meanings to that. I mean, this is definitely more peaceful than that whole creepy desert of death, but I'm not really about wheat. Can we get like a beachside? Can we get some mountains? Can we get some ocean? Because I get hay fever and I feel like this place would make me insane. Are we going to end with him in the field of reeds? No! Okay. All right. Hold on. Let's just see whether or not there is any extra scenes. Okay, you know, you always got to check with Marvel. They like to throw in a few little extras sometimes when you're not looking. So, whoo, guys, this was an interesting episode. This was deep. This was so deep on so many levels. And you know what? I'm really glad that it was, because the underlying topic behind this whole story with Marc is such a delicate but desperately, like, it's a touchy topic, but it's one that desperately needs to be addressed and demystified and destigmatized. And I'm glad that the show is not just kind of brushing off the severity of mental health and people who have mental health issues and how difficult it is for them, and getting even a better understanding as to why these mental health issues occur. Because honestly, a lot of times in TV and movies, if you hear about someone with a mental health issue, it's usually a catalyst, or it's something that's like a reason to kind of kick off a story or a plot line, but no one really talks about that particular issue, right? And sadly, when it comes to mental health issues, the one that at least that I've seen most frequently shown in TV and movies has been around like psychopathic behavior, right? Quite frankly, people who do horrible things because there's something wrong with them. But when you look at something like this with dissociative identity disorder, it's something that affects a lot of people and it's very misunderstood. Like, I know myself, there's very little that I know about it. And I think that what makes it so both intriguing but also scary is that it's like it's usually not a dangerous thing, right? It's not something where people who have this necessarily automatically are a danger to themselves or other people, but it is still something that causes a lot of pain and loneliness, and obviously just a lot of dysfunction in the person who suffers from it and the people around them that care about them. So I feel like the fact that this show is not just walking away from this and using this disorder as a way to explain, you know, having these two different characters with the same face, but actually touching on why this is important for us to know about Marc and to understand why Steven exists and to understand how he got to this place, and not just say it in a way of, oh, he almost died once and now this happened. Like, now we're really understanding the layers that went into this. And of course, I don't think that this is the only reason why people create other identities or how this always manifests itself, but I have heard that for many who do get this disorder, it is typically because they experienced some level of trauma that was so deep and so disturbing that that's literally the way their mind chose to deal with it, was by splitting their consciousness into more than one personality. And we finally have the backstory on Marc here. I mean, again, people told me in the comments, thank you, that Marc was the original identity, so that wasn't a surprise to me. But I think it was very interesting that the way they showed it throughout the episode, how Marc kept trying to keep Steven from knowing the truth. And you'd think like, hey, you guys share a body, you guys technically share a mind. So what difference does it make if Steven knows what's going on? But when you understand why Steven was created, that Steven was this blemish-free, angelic, smart, kind, you know, kind of perfect version of what Marc thought he needed to be in order for his mom to love him. And that was the kid who didn't have to go through, like he said, having the mom that was abusive, having the mom that blamed him for something that could not possibly have been his fault. Then you understand why he needed to keep those walls up and he had those shields up, and why even when he was Marc, he would have had to keep a lot of people at arm's length like Layla and not tell her the truth because it's too painful. And there's just so many things to delve into from like that backstory. Like, honestly, I could go on for hours, but I'm going to try to keep this review from getting too long. But seeing things like the fact that we discovered in this episode that he had a brother, never mentions him, right? Marc never brings his brother up, and that's horrible. That is horrible. That shows you how badly his parents bungled dealing with the death of his brother, that he can't even talk about his brother. And even though it looks like he was only maybe about 10, 11 years old when he passed, he should still be able to talk about the good times he had with him and the love that they shared. He can't even do that because it just brings him pain and overwhelming guilt thanks to the way that his parents handle it. And I say parents plural because while his father may not have been the instigator of the worst of that abuse, the fact that he stood by and allowed his wife to talk to his remaining living child in that way for years, like, sir, I know that he was in a horrible position, like that's the woman you love and this is your own child. That's like a Sophie's choice of decisions, but in the end, one of them is an innocent person who needs you, who relies on you, and the other is a grown person who is choosing a path of hatred and blame to deal with their grief. And you know what I'm saying? Like, he should have gotten her help so much sooner. Like, again, I don't want to get too much into whether or not people should be put into therapy or put into treatment if they don't want to be, but I feel like if there was ever a case for having someone hospitalized, it was this. Marc's mom should have been hospitalized. When the drinking started, when the abuse of their son started, those were valid reasons to show that she was no longer in her right mind. She was no longer thinking clearly, because it doesn't look like she was always that way. It looked like from what we saw at the very beginning of the episode that she was a very stereotypical mother and she seemed to be very loving to both of her kids. But for her to have that, like that breaking point, which basically and I think that's really interesting that they showed the parallels between Marc's mom's breaking point and Marc's breaking point, right? Marc's mom, her breaking point caused her to just turn into just the absolute worst version of herself possible, right? Just berating her living child, blaming him for something he couldn't possibly be, at fault for. Just instead of dealing with her grief and cherishing what she had left, she chose to just turn all that grief into anger and hatred and target her own child with all that rage. Like he's literally was just a dumping ground for all of her pain and all of her sadness. And I mean, if we got deeper into it, she probably felt guilt. Like when she did sober up from time to time, she probably felt incredible guilt around the way she treated Marc, but that probably just fueled right back into all of the pain she was feeling. And it just became probably a very dangerous and twisted cycle. And one could almost say that she had her own form of dissociative identity, right? Because I don't think that's who she really was. I really never believe that anybody who does cruel and evil things, that's who they truly are. I think we make choices and things happen to us that can make us manifest the worst sides of ourselves. And that's what happened with Marc's mom. And unfortunately, like I said, her husband, who was the only other adult in this situation, he didn't have the strength to do what needed to be done, which was get his wife help. And if she wouldn't get help, then to at least remove her from the home, because like Marc did not deserve that. Like the kid left at 16, 17 years old because he couldn't handle it anymore. That's not okay. That is not okay for a kid to be so broken by his own mother that he had to run away at an age when he still didn't even know if he could take care of himself, because he knew no matter what cruelty the world had to offer, it was probably better than hearing your own mother who birthed you tell you that it's all your fault and that she basically thinks you purposefully it's just, that was heartbreaking. It really, really was heartbreaking to watch. And I said it in the episode and I'll say it again. Oscar Isaac absolutely killed this performance. He better get an award for this. I'm telling you. I know that they don't like to give the superhero shows awards, but I really believe that this performance and even the screenwriting for this show deserve awards because they are so compelling, and Oscar killed it in there, showing us just, especially that scene where he was at the funeral and he couldn't bring himself to go inside. That was just brilliant. It really did encompass the amount of pain that Marc has been in and the twisting nether that's been his insides and his psyche since his brother died, and having basically no relief from that from the people who he needed it from most, basically his parents. It was just even that scene at the funeral, how the showing of how conflicted Marc would be in that moment. Like, that is his mother. That is someone that he would have loved deeply, someone that he knew had the capacity to love him, but just couldn't push through her grief to do so in the later part of his life. And now she's gone, and the hope that he had of her ever, I guess, maybe turning that leaf and loving him again, or them rebuilding the relationship that he created in his mind that they had via Steven, like that went away when she passed away. And then also, as we saw at that point, he'd been in the military. He was already working for Khonshu. So he now felt like he still wasn't good enough to be her son. And so like he said, it was so interesting seeing when he was walking away, like when his dad was like gently trying to beckon him into the funeral. And he was like, I can't give her this, like part of him was like, I can't give her the satisfaction. I won't give her the satisfaction of going to her funeral. And you felt that, right? Like you understood that like this woman has hurt me. She's broken me to my core. She doesn't deserve my grief. She doesn't deserve me going in there and essentially saying goodbye and celebrating her life. But at the same time, it's his mom, right? That's his mama. And of course, all of us, I mean, I don't know a single person that's not going to be devastated over the loss of their mother. So this was such a complex and layered emotional episode. Like I said, I could talk for ages about it because there's so much to cover, but I'm trying to keep it kind of more to how it pertained to the episode. But all of that, and I love that they showed that was the inciting incident to the Steven and Marc bleeding through with the personalities, because before, as we saw when the first time Steven emerged, it was very much a switch up, right? It was very much when things got too hard with his mom, Marc would switch into the other persona, Steven's persona. And then Steven, who's happy-go-lucky, Mr. De-escalator, Mr. I know how to talk my way out of situations, I don't know how to resort to violence and bad things. That's who came out, right? And then when that wasn't needed anymore, when Steven needed to be protected, that's when Marc would come out, because Marc was the tough as nails. I gotta grab myself by the bootstraps and deal with all this trauma person in their lives, right? So very interesting that they kind of showed like this is how their relationship, like first why Steven was created, and this is how their relationship is typically worked throughout his life since Steven's been around. And I think the other thing that was interesting that was shown was we got to see how Moon Knight came about, as far as Marc being the Moon Knight, and the moment where you see Steven being like, you were manipulated in this moment. You know that you were, right? And Marc was kind of like, yeah, but also part of me was like, maybe he's seeing something that I don't, as far as me being a terrible person, right? That conditioning that his mother had put into his head for so long. And I feel like that's the main reason that Marc took the deal when he did, not just because he was dying, but the fact that he literally was dying because he had just been part of a heist that ended terribly and ended in the death of innocent people, which is not what he wanted. I don't think he wanted to die as that person. I think he was like, I want a shot to redeem myself, to like not be this person, to be better than this, because I know I'm capable of it. And then in the end, we see that with the hippopotamus lady, I forgot her name again. She was saying like the only way that you can either pass on to the good place or, not go to the good place, your soul has to balance in the end. You have to balance out with this feather. And that's what kind of triggered our whole trip through all of this, which again, I want to just put another shout out, because the fact that the way they played this, especially with Harrow being the doctor, they really did a good job of making it seem like this very well could just be a big fever dream, right? This really could be a hallucination that Marc was going through in this facility. But we see that, that's what triggered this whole thing. And in the end, when they're on the brink of like basically both of them being dragged down into the eternal, what would you call it? Calcification, eternal sandification, that in the end, Steven is like, I have to get in here and help you. Like, I have to basically stop being the judgmental character in the background and step up and help you to see that you're worth saving. Because that's really what this comes down to, right? Steven is the part of Marc that he thinks is worth saving. He doesn't think Marc is worth saving. He thinks Steven is. And he doesn't realize they're the same person. All those things that he loves about Steven, like they're Marc too, and they're all worth saving. So the fact that Steven kind of threw it all to the wind, as it were, at the end, and really got down and dirty and saved Marc, and then ended up sacrificing himself, I was like, this is going to be the scale balance we need. And not so much that Steven is gone, because we saw Marc's not ready to let go of Steven yet. Clearly, he freaked out with when Steven was thrown overboard. But I think he needs to stop thinking of Steven as like the perfect personification of what he could and should be. Like he needs to stop pedestaling Steven. Steven can still be, I think he's still going to forever be a bit of a retreat for him mentally, but Marc needs to start accepting that he is all these things, and that, like I said, he's worthy of love and he's worthy of life, and that these things are not like they're not separate. So I think the getting rid of that Steven, that manifestation of him, was definitely needed for him to be able to come back and have balance, and to help him stop with that whole vacillating revolving door of the personalities that was happening happening when he was still alive. And oh yeah, sorry, back to the moment where Khonshu decided to pick him. Very interesting that we saw, remember Harrow said that, I wonder if Khonshu knew that you were broken when he chose you, or if being his avatar is what broke you. And now we found out that it was the former. Khonshu saw that he wasn't okay and he picked him because of that, which is crazy. But now I'm thinking that maybe it's because that's how he's been able to keep this up for so long, right? Marc going out doing the dirty work, the emotional baggage that comes with doing that dirty work, being able to flip into Steven, who is hunky-dory and doesn't care and is chill and gets to live a mundane, under the radar life. Like, that's kind of the perfect situation really for Khonshu. So now I see kind of why he thought Steven was perfect for this particular, or sorry, Marc was perfect for this particular job. But obviously still selfish because Marc is not okay and Marc and Steven are still the same person. And like, I guess he didn't foresee that the two personalities would eventually mesh and get to talk it out. So anyway, that kind of brings us into the end of the episode where we saw both of them saying to the hippo spirit that like, you got to talk to Layla and get Khonshu back. We need to merge with him again. He needs to bring us back and we need to go back to stop, you know, because we saw all the souls that were not supposed to be sent here or being sent there by Harrow, aka Amat, because she don't care, right? She don't really care. So obviously someone's got to stop this from happening and it's got to be Steven. So we'll have to see what happens as far as Layla getting word and basically either getting Khonshu or bringing Steven's body to Khonshu, one or the other. But something's got to go down and I'm very interested to see what kind of version of Marc will be back. Like, are we gonna just get Marc when he comes back? Or are we gonna still get Marc and Steven, but it's gonna be like an interchangeable, I don't know. There's a lot possibilities here of what we might get when Marc comes back. But like I said, I don't think it's the end for Steven yet because I think Marc still needs him for certain things. And I don't think Marc was really ready to let go of him yet fully, at least all aspects of that persona. So I am very interested to see what the new coming back from all of this, gone through my trauma finally and dealt with it to some degree, Marc will be like, and how that's going to affect his relationship with Layla as well. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this episode along with me. I thought it was fantastic. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and we will see you in the next video.